Chapter 1451. Keegan, look at what they've done to our son. I tried calling you but couldn't get through. Look at the sorry state they've left us in. Beatrice, suppressing her anger, spoke to Keegan, her voice filled with resentment. Keegan also appeared furious, embracing Beatrice. He comforted her, was in a meeting. I couldn't answer your call in time. I apologize. Now, tell me, why was Mikey attacked? If the person responsible is at fault, I will definitely seek justice for our child. As a parent, Keegan's heart ached deeply for his own child. Initially, when Beatrice didn't provide a clear explanation, Keegan assumed it was an adult who had harmed Mikey. Considering the severity of the injuries on the child's face, it didn't seem like the work of another child, so he naturally assumed it was the doing of an adult. Dad, they all ganged up on me. Michael threw himself into Keegan's arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Keegan, his face pale, held his wife and child, trying to comfort his son. Tell me, why did they attack you? How could they hit you so hard? Even if you made a mistake, a simple reprimand would have sufficed. Who could be so ruthless? Was it a teacher or someone else who attacked you? Daddy will make sure the Education Bureau takes action against them. Michael glanced at Beatrice, noticing a change in her expression. She quietly explained, Darling, Mikey was attacked by Benjamin's children. She didn't mention Arissa, directing her accusation solely at Benjamin. Keegan paused, then looked at the mother and son. Benjamin's son attacked you. Boo-hoo. Dad, I only said a few words, and they didn't like it, so they attacked me. They even attacked a few of my friends who were playing with me. Michael averted his gaze, not daring to look directly at Keegan. Keegan furrowed his brow with concern. He had been preoccupied with work, leaving their child's education to Beatrice. He turned to Beatrice. You should have a clear understanding of what's going on. Explain it to me in detail. They are too merciless, considering it a fight between children. Beatrice helped her son lie down before she spoke to Keegan. Mikey simply said a few words, expressing concern about the unhygienic things they brought, and then those kids started attacking him. Keegan scrutinized Beatrice with his gaze, staring intently. Just like that, Mikey has always been willful at home. I'm not sure if he behaves the same way at school. What exactly did you say to them? Did you insult them? Keegan sternly stared at Michael. Michael was so intimidated by his father that he dared not speak. He hid under the blanket, looking at his mother pleadingly with reddened eyes. Why are you scolding him? He's already been beaten up. If you won't stand up for your son, that's one thing, but to scold him on top of that. Beatrice's face darkened as she reprimanded Keegan, defending her son. Keegan glanced at the mother and son, visibly upset. If he's not at fault, why did they attack him like this? What have I always told you? You're too lenient with him. The way he behaves at home is how he'll behave outside. If this continues, he'll be causing trouble every day when he grows up. Beatrice was furious and retorted, Mikey is still young. What he said wasn't wrong. He only spoke out of concern for his classmates. And you've belittled him. Does he deserve to be attacked? Your eldest son is the best. Keegan was visibly upset. Why are you bringing up Hector? We're talking about Mikey here. What does Hector have to do with this? Mikey learned it all from him. Beatrice said mockingly. Why don't you go and scold your eldest son? Chapter 1452. Keegan was deeply disturbed by Beatrice. His expression was incredibly serious. They are all so inconsiderate, he thought to himself. Tell me honestly, what exactly did you say about them? Keegan questioned his younger son, Michael. Michael was trembling uncontrollably. Beatrice held him tightly, speaking up for her son indignantly. All he said was that their chili sauce was unsanitary and could be harmful, and they started attacking him. Keegan's expression remained serious. Is there any surveillance footage? I don't have it with me. Beatrice turned her head, comforting her son. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Keegan immediately called the principal and quickly obtained the video. He watched it from start to finish, fully understanding the sequence of events leading to the children's fight. With a stern gaze fixed on Michael, who was huddled in Beatrice's arms, he asked, Why did you accuse someone's food of being poisonous without any reason? He couldn't understand why Michael would continue to slander them even after the other party had explained. It was no surprise that he was beaten. "I don't like them," Michael managed to blurt out. "Dad, you need to teach them lesson. They've hurt me so badly." Keegan looked at his son, who showed no signs of remorse. He then glanced at Beatrice. "Look at the fine son you've raised. If you have nothing better to do, go home. You're making a scene." Beatrice was deeply upset. "Can we really be at ease when our son is going home with such serious injuries? I see he's still being defiant, which means there's no real issue. It's just some superficial injuries. Send him home," Keegan insisted, his gaze fixed on Beatrice. "What did Benjamin say?" Beatrice's lips twitched slightly. "They said they would cover Mikey's medical expenses." "Did you offend him?" Keegan was still wary of Benjamin. He had just been promoted and certainly didn't want to be kicked out before settling into his new position. Beatrice's eyes flickered. She cunningly defended herself. "I scolded them because their children beat up our Mikey to this extent." As a parent, her anger was completely justified. Keegan demanded, "Get discharged now and go home. Don't hold grudges." Mikey got himself into trouble because he couldn't keep his mouth shut. It's not their fault. From now on, all of you need to keep a low profile. Beatrice had no choice but to arrange for her son's discharge from the hospital. When Benjamin received a sudden call from Keegan, his expression darkened. "Mr. Graham, I was in a meeting today, so I just found out about the situation with the children. Mikey is naive and we've spoiled him too much. I'm truly sorry." Keegan humbly apologized to Benjamin. "My wife can be hot-tempered. If she said anything unpleasant, please don't take it to heart." "Okay," Benjamin responded, and didn't say anything else. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Keegan cautiously said, "Mr. Graham, tomorrow morning, I will bring my wife and child to visit you and apologize to your children. It was Mikey's fault today. I'm sorry." "No need." Benjamin flatly refused, not accepting Keegan's offer. "Your son has already apologized at school. He didn't want Arissa to see Beatrice again. It's better to apologize in person. As his parent, I failed to properly educate him. Mr. Lord, it's best if our families avoid meeting. Today's incident was between the children, and it has been resolved at school, so there's no need to dwell on it any further." Benjamin interrupted him coldly. "I've caused you some trouble," Keegan said awkwardly, somewhat puzzled by Benjamin's intentions. "Since it's a matter between the children, what did you mean by our families should avoid meeting, Mr. Graham?" Benjamin lowered his gaze, a grimace spreading across his handsome face. His voice was cold and distant as he replied, "Mr. Lord, perhaps you should ask Mrs. Lord. I believe she has a clear understanding." Upon hearing Benjamin's mocking words, Keegan looked puzzled. Before he could say anything, Benjamin added, "In the future, I hope Mrs. Lord will keep her distance from my wife. It's best for both families." With that, Benjamin immediately hung up the phone. Chapter 1453. Keegan furrowed his brows tightly, feeling puzzled by Benjamin's words. Beatrice had just finished the paperwork and returned, saying, "Keegan, I've completed Mikey's discharge procedures. We can go home now." "Did you do or say something to Mrs. Graham today?" Keegan asked, meeting his wife's questioning gaze. Beatrice's eyes flickered as she responded, "Did you call them?" Keegan's face turned somber as he suppressed his anger. "Benjamin just spoke to me. He wants you to stay away from his wife. Did you say anything inappropriate to her? I want you to tell me clearly." Engaging in a confrontation with Benjamin is not a wise move. Beatrice glanced at Keegan, who was reprimanding her. She bit her lip and said, "We'll discuss this matter when we get home." Keegan gave her an annoyed glance, then looked at his young son standing off to the side. "Get down and walk by yourself." "You." Beatrice wanted to scold, but she held back her words and stepped forward to carry her son. "Mikey, let's go home." "Mom, my face hurts so much." Michael tugged at Beatrice's clothes, wanting her to hold him. However, with his father present, he didn't dare to be too obvious. "Let mommy comfort your pain away." Beatrice bent down to blow on her son's face. His chubby little face was so swollen that his eyes were barely visible. Thinking about how Arissa's child had beaten her son to this state, Beatrice was filled with indignation. Sean came over carrying a large bag of medicine and handed it to them. "Mr. Lord, this is your son's medicine. Apply it once in the morning and once at night. If the pain becomes unbearable, he can take some painkillers as needed." What a hassle. Keegan took the medicine bag, nodded at Sean, and left with Beatrice's son. "Feel free to come back for a follow-up in a couple of days," Sean called out. Only after they had left did he call Benjamin. "Benjamin, they've gone back." "All right," Benjamin responded. He didn't ask too much about whether the child needed to be hospitalized, as it wasn't a big issue. Instead, Sean took the initiative to tell him about the argument between Keegan and Beatrice that had just occurred. "Benjamin, they just had a fierce argument in the ward. Let me tell you, Keegan doesn't seem like a fool. Don't jump to conclusions so quickly," Benjamin retorted. "I'm hanging up." He stepped out of the study to see the little ones gathered around Arissa, eagerly offering her snacks and fruits. The atmosphere was filled with joy. The corner of Benjamin's mouth instinctively lifted, and his stern aura softened along with it. Seeing him stride over, Arissa waved with a smile. "Go over and eat something." Benjamin glanced at them, walked over to Arissa, and gently asked, "Are you hungry? Can't keep your mouth shut." Arissa was a bit naive, and Benjamin reached out to rub her hair. "Aren't you eating?" Arissa looked at him, her mouth still chewing like a little squirrel. Benjamin chuckled. "I'm not eating." He sat down next to her, nudging the children aside. Several little ones were glaring at him, clearly upset. Zachary was quite annoyed. "Mr. Graham, do you understand the concept of first come, first serve?" Benjamin arched his sharp eyebrows, his gaze fixed directly on the little one. "What do you mean? We were here first, and you just swooped in and took our spot." Zachary grumbled, not willing to give in to Benjamin. Darius and the rest were sitting across from them, amusingly watching the standoff between the father and son. "This is my house. Why can't I sit? Believe it or not, I can throw you out." Benjamin asserted his dominance. Zachary stared wide-eyed, speaking to Arissa. "Mommy, you see it, don't you? He doesn't like us at all. He even wants to throw us out." "You don't need to do that. We'll leave on our own." Turning to Benjamin, the little guy spoke with determination, subtly signaling his siblings with a glance, then headed toward the door. "Gavin, Tim, let's go." Benjamin narrowed his sharp eyes, watching them leave without uttering a word to stop them. Chapter 1454. Gavin and Tim exchanged a glance before quickly following Zachary's lead. "There will come a time when you'll regret this," Gavin said triumphantly, glaring at Benjamin. Then, holding Tim's hand, they left the house with their heads held high. Benjamin couldn't help but burst into laughter. "What on earth are these kids up to? They've been defeated by me so quickly today." He wasn't nervous at all, but Arissa was. She was worried that their father-son relationship would become even more strained. "Zachary, come back. What's all this fuss about? Your daddy was just joking with you." "Mommy, does he look like he's joking? He's clearly serious. He doesn't like us." "Well, we don't like him either." "Oliver, Jasper, are you guys coming or not?" Zachary saw Oliver and Jasper still sitting there dumbfounded, and he couldn't help but shout out in annoyance. Seeing that Zachary was getting a bit heated, the two brothers hurried over to stand with him. "We've left home, Mommy, but don't worry about us. We'll get in touch once we've found a place." Zachary, full of confidence, called out to Arissa, then beckoned her brothers and headed out the door. Arissa was at her wit's end. She nudged the man beside her. "Aren't you going to call them back? They won't leave." Benjamin, however, was not worried. "Jessie is still here, isn't she? If they really were to run away from home, would they ever leave their beloved little sister behind?" This time, Benjamin really got it wrong. Gavin and the others simply didn't want to involve their little sister in their risky endeavors. They unanimously decided to let Jessie stay at home, where she could keep an eye on their father and mother's activities at any time. Where could they possibly go at this hour? Darius was visibly worried as he watched the little ones leave, their figures disappearing into the night. He turned and reprimanded Benjamin. As a father, you should at least know how to comfort them. Benjamin glanced at the old man's distressed look. If you're so concerned, you should go and comfort them. Darius gave him a stern look and said sarcastically, no wonder they still don't call you Daddy, it's all your own doing. Darius then ordered the butler and Mary to go chase after the little ones. Orissa took a look and murmured, the kids aren't kidding, are they? Benjamin glanced at her and reassuringly said, with the bodyguards watching, they can't get out. Orissa also thought it made sense, guessing that the little ones were just playing around with Benjamin and they would return after a stroll in the garden. Mommy, do you think Gavin and the others have started to dislike me? Jessie glanced at them, a look of sadness on her face. Orissa held her daughter close, comforting her. Your brothers really care about you. This has nothing to do with you. They're just angry at your daddy. It's all your fault. You've driven my brothers away. Jessie yelled at Benjamin, then stomped off upstairs. She wondered if her brothers had left yet. Benjamin was rendered speechless. Why is everyone blaming me? Seeing him being scolded by his daughter, Orissa chuckled. Are you done with work? Not yet. Benjamin embraced her. Taking advantage of the rare moment when everyone had left, he planted a kiss on her face. With a smile, Orissa asked, so, why did you come out? I was having such a good time playing with the kids, and you scared them all away. Benjamin was nuzzling her ear, her body exuding a sweet, milky scent. He couldn't help but take a deep breath. Whispering into her ear, he said, you're blaming me too, aren't you? They're always opposing me, trying to steal my wife. Listening to his voice full of dissatisfaction and complaints pitifully, Orissa couldn't help but chuckle. Why are you jealous of your own sons? Benjamin nipped her ear, causing Orissa to pout and glare at him. What are you doing? You smell so good. Benjamin's gaze was fervent, as if she were a delicious treat. Chapter 1455. Orissa snuggled in his arms, glancing towards the door with a hint of worry. Why haven't they come back yet? She asked. Benjamin looked at her and sighed. He could see that her attention was completely focused on the children. They're probably out having fun. No need to worry about them, he reassured her. Orissa turned her gaze away from the door and met Benjamin's slightly displeased expression. She playfully pinched his ear and said, why the long face? Such a handsome face looks even better with a smile. Benjamin's eyes sparkled, and he couldn't help but smile indulgently at her. A wave of warmth washed over Orissa's heart, causing her to blush shyly. She couldn't help but think that this man's smile was truly captivating. Benjamin's smile widened, and there was a twinkle in his eyes. He enjoyed seeing her captivated by him, even though it tugged at his heart. Orissa quickly looked away, feeling a bit flustered. Benjamin leaned over and whispered in her ear, do I look handsome when I smile? His deep, mellow voice sent a jolt of electricity through her body. Orissa buried her head in his chest, feeling the warmth of his body seep through his shirt onto her face. It was comforting and carried a captivating scent, and she couldn't help but take a few sniffs. Benjamin looked at her, finding her shyness even more charming. He felt a surge of warmth within him and lifted her up, carrying her back to the bedroom and laying her gently on the bed. He gave her a gentle and warm kiss, starting from her face and making his way down to her neck. Orissa's heart fluttered under his teasing, but suddenly, she heard a commotion outside. It seemed like something had happened. She reached out to stop Benjamin's advances and asked, panting lightly, Benjamin, what's happening outside? Benjamin, annoyed, propped himself up on either side of her body. I'll go take a look. Orissa quickly straightened her clothes and sat up. Darius is calling for you to search over there. A voice from downstairs said anxiously. What's going on? Orissa asked Benjamin, feeling worried. Benjamin turned around and walked back in, glancing at her. It seems like they're looking for those rascals. Orissa looked at him, puzzled. Dad still hasn't found the children. This can't be right. Could it be that they've really run away from home? She exchanged a glance with Benjamin, still deeply concerned about the children. Sometimes, the little ones could be quite unpredictable. Go down and have a look. Don't let them be out this late at night, Benjamin instructed. He took out his phone and asked the bodyguard at the door, have you seen Gavin and the others? Then, he added, keep a close watch. Once you find them, don't let them escape. Bring some people and find out where they are. After giving his instructions, Benjamin hung up the phone and said to Orissa, the bodyguard at the door didn't see them leave. They should still be at home. The garden was quite large, so if they were hiding in some corner playing hide and seek, it would be difficult to find them quickly. Orissa nodded. She picked up her phone and dialed her son's number, but there was no answer. When she couldn't reach Gavin, she tried calling Tim, then Zachary, Oliver, and even Jasper, but still, no one answered. She sighed. The children won't even answer my calls. Orissa attempted to call the little girl again, but instead, Jessie came running from her own room. Mommy, what do you need me for? Jessie asked. Orissa looked at her daughter and asked, do you know where your brothers have gone? Jessie blinked in confusion and shook her head. I'm not sure. Aren't they downstairs? Orissa had her doubts. Does this little girl really not know? If you know where they are, you must tell me. It's dangerous outside, Orissa urged. Chapter 1456. Jessie hurriedly made her way to the staircase, occasionally glancing back to check if anyone was following her. Seeing no one, she couldn't help but let out a quiet chuckle before quickly descending the stairs. Grandpa, have you found my brothers? She asked as soon as she saw Darius, who appeared anxious. Oh no, she thought to herself. They haven't returned yet, Jessie. Quickly, call them and find out where they are, Darius replied, his worry evident. He had already sent the butler and others to search for them, but they hadn't found anyone yet. My big brothers aren't answering my calls. Jessie pouted, clearly upset. Grandpa, I'm going to go find them. Before Jessie could take a step to run away, Darius caught hold of her. Surprise flashed across her face. Could it be that her grandfather had discovered her plan? Don't go. Let someone else search for them, Darius said, afraid that the young girl might also go missing. He held onto her tightly. Seeing the furrowed brow of the old man, Jessie felt a pang of heartache. Grandpa, don't worry, she reassured him. My brothers won't get lost. They're very smart. Even if they go out, they'll take good care of themselves. Darius met the comforting gaze of the little girl, and his heart warmed. It's best not to wander outside. There are bad people out there. Darius had recently come across news about human traffickers, apart from seeking revenge from enemies. He certainly didn't want his own grandchildren to encounter such a situation. Jessie nodded, thinking to herself that she would secretly send a message to her brothers later, asking them to be careful. I wonder if they've already left, she thought. Upstairs, Orissa urged Benjamin, go down and find them. Everything will be fine once you've convinced them. Benjamin grunted in response but turned around to fetch her pajamas. Orissa closely watched his figure. Benjamin had prepared everything before carrying her into the bathroom. You should take a bath first. I'll go and check downstairs. Okay, Orissa nodded, giving him a few reminders. When you talk to the children, don't be too stern. Don't scare them. Speak kindly, I know, Benjamin said, caressing her cheek. Be careful in the bathroom. The floor can be slippery. Orissa chuckled. I'm not a child. I'll be careful. Go ahead and find them. Benjamin nodded, closed the door behind her, and then went downstairs to search for the children. Dad, have you found them yet? Benjamin asked as he came down and saw Darius and Jessie anxiously looking around. They're not here yet. I have no idea where they've gone to hide. Both the butler and Mary have searched everywhere, but they haven't found anyone. Darius had a stern expression on his face, showing his dissatisfaction towards Benjamin. Look at how upset you've made them. If they disappear, you'll have to answer to me. All right, I'm going to check the surveillance cameras. Benjamin didn't want to listen to Darius' complaints, so he went straight to check the surveillance. However, he discovered that several cameras were broken. In the remaining footage, the children disappeared from view after stepping out the door, cleverly avoiding the surveillance range. Benjamin narrowed his eyes. Are they intentionally making things difficult for me? Meanwhile, the search for the children was in full swing. At the farthest end of the garden, a few small figures crawled through a dog hole. 5 children crawled out of the dog hole, brushing off the grass and dirt from their bodies. "Hurry up. Mr. Hinton is waiting for us over there," Zachary urged, leading the others towards a hidden spot. Gavin was filled with excitement. He grabbed Tim and Oliver, urging them, "Let's run quickly, or we won't be able to escape once." "Daddy finds out we've snuck out," Jasper responded with a mischievous grin. "Don't worry. I've hacked all the surveillance. He won't be able to find us." Gavin looked at him and said earnestly, "Daddy is really skilled at checking the surveillance." Jasper pursed his lips. "Is he as amazing as Mommy? If he was more capable than Mommy, would he still need to ask her to be his technical director?" Jasper wondered. Zachary glanced at the somewhat smug Jasper. "Hurry up." Chapter 1457. Bradley drove an unlicensed car, feeling extremely nervous. When he saw the 5 kids, he quickly got out of the car to usher them in. Hurry up, these mischievous kids sure know how to make things difficult for me. If Mr. Graham finds out, I'm definitely in for a rough time. Mr. Hinton, don't be afraid. We'll take responsibility if anything happens. Hurry up and go." The 5 kids swiftly climbed into the car as Zachary reassured Bradley. "What on earth are you guys up to? Running around in the middle of the night. Does your mom know about this?" Bradley asked while starting the car. "Of course, we've told Mommy. We're running away from home." The 5 kids chimed in unison. With a serious expression, Bradley glanced at the rearview mirror and shook his head. Over the phone, these kids were being mysterious, not telling him the reason, just urging him to come and help as fast as he could, or else. Who could blame him? With the kids holding his secrets, he had no choice but to willingly play the role of a lackey. "What exactly are you planning to do?" After leaving the vicinity of Yaleview, Bradley asked again at the intersection. The kids blinked at him, innocent and adorable, radiating intelligence. Bradley, however, felt as if they were plotting against him, causing a chill to run down his back. "Hee, Mr. Hinton, just keep driving, we'll guide you. Once we're done, I'll pay you for your troubles." Oliver adjusted his glasses, speaking confidently. Bradley didn't know whether to laugh or cry. There's also a fee for extra hard work. Throughout the journey, he drove wherever the kids pointed. The more they traveled, the more Bradley felt a sense of familiarity. Upon seeing the somewhat historic white villa, Bradley paused in surprise. "Isn't this boss's old house? Tell me honestly, what brings you here?" After parking the car, Bradley turned his head to look at the 5 kids sitting in the back. Gavin smiled at Bradley, and then his face turned furious. Teaching some people a lesson. Today, Regan and his old mother came to bother Mommy again. If we don't teach them a lesson, they'll never learn how to behave. Jasper angrily complained. He was really fed up with them. Upon hearing the kids' words, Bradley was also quite indignant, promptly joining their ranks. 1 adult and 5 children quietly entered Regan's house without a trace. The house was filled with numerous treasures, all valuable antiques and calligraphy paintings. "Mr. Hinton, don't let any of them off the hook. Let them continue indulging. I'll shatter their hearts." Oliver took out the tools for the job, distributed them among them, and began to wreak havoc. In the living room and study, they tampered with the antique calligraphy and paintings. It was now impossible to sell them at a high price, let alone their original price. These treasures, once flawed, instantly depreciated significantly, becoming practically worthless. In less than 10 minutes, all 6 figures made their way upstairs, leaving none of the treasures untouched. Finley was not at home, being detained elsewhere. Regan was at the company, and Miranda, who had gone out to have fun, had not yet returned home. Only Heather was left in the villa, sound asleep in bed, oblivious to everything that was happening at home. The kids really disliked her, so they went ahead and put a few snakes on her bed. Then, they left the villa and waited not far away. Sure enough, within a few minutes, Heather's piercing scream echoed from within the villa. "Ah, ah, ah, help!" Startled awake by the slick touch of a snake, Heather quickly turned on the light to see what it was. To her horror, she found several large snakes coiled on her bed. The sight was so terrifying that she immediately fainted. Why is it so quiet all of a sudden? Don't tell me she got scared to death? Jasper peered in that direction. A hint of schadenfreude twinkling in his eyes. Suddenly silent. She must be scared stiff, Zachary said, the corner of his mouth curling up with a devilish smirk. Chapter 1458. Should we go in and check? We don't want to cause a fatality. It's not worth it. Gavin was pleased to have scared Heather, but he was also concerned that they might have gone too far. Oliver looked at him, uncertainly saying, she shouldn't be that weak, right? A grown person scared to death by a snake. Mommy is never this timid. I'll go and take a look. Bradley didn't want to make a fuss, so he opened the car door to go and check it out. Suddenly, he saw a car driving toward the villa's entrance, so he quickly got back into his car. Miranda had returned, stepping out of the car with a hint of intoxication. Mr. Hinton, would you like to come in for a cup of tea before you leave? Immediately after, a man followed her, wrapping his arm around her waist, and kissed her without hesitation. Little enchantress, are you sure about inviting a man into your home in the middle of the night? Miranda was like a boneless doll draped over the man. Their kisses were passionate, hinting at a resolution right then and there. Quickly, Bradley covered the little boy's eyes. It's too glaring, don't look. This woman has no shame, Jasper said in disgust, cursing under his breath. Mr. Hinton, quickly take a picture so we can keep it. If she dares to cause trouble in the future, we'll show her own behavior. Gavin was very composed. He wouldn't allow himself to be bothered by unsightly matters, so he directly instructed Bradley to take care of it. This is a great idea. Bradley was brimming with excitement, quickly capturing this moment. Miranda ended up getting all tangled with that man in the flower garden, and both of their intimate acts were caught on camera by Bradley. The shots that should have been taken were taken, and those that shouldn't have been were skillfully avoided. It was such a steamy scene, any adult would know what they were up to. Half an hour later, the two emerged, their clothes disheveled. They clung to each other, unwilling to part, sharing a lingering kiss before finally separating. The car drove away, and Miranda entered the door. The villa was brightly lit, followed by a scream. Then came the sound of panicked footsteps. In less than a minute, Miranda's terrified voice rang out. Mom, wake up. Please don't scare me. What's wrong with you? Miranda was slapping the unconscious Heather, who had collapsed by the bed, calling out for a while, but there was no sign of the woman waking up. She was terrified, collapsing onto the bed. She felt something soft and cold beneath her. When she reached down to touch it, she realized it was a snake. She was so scared that she felt like her soul was leaving her body. She quickly leapt aside, staring in terror at the bed where several snakes began to slither, their heads raised to look at her. Miranda didn't bother with her mother anymore. She stumbled and ran out of Heather's room. Bradley and the 5 little ones sat in the car. Hearing the sound disappear again, they exchanged glances. Did that woman faint too? Tim asked, his face expressing disbelief. Zachary sneered, useless people. They should be scared to death. I'll go in and check. It wasn't that Bradley was worried about them. He just wanted to make sure no one got hurt. Mr. Hinton, wait a bit longer. Gavin stopped Bradley, noticing Miranda's figure appearing on the first floor. Miranda rolled down from upstairs, scrambling out the door in terror. She did not pass out. It seems like she's more capable than her mother. Oliver stroked his chin, looking at Miranda acting like a fool. Miranda tearfully called Regan, stuttering for a while before she could squeeze out her words. Dad, come back quickly. Something's happened. Meanwhile, Heather's scream echoed from upstairs. They were out on the street, and through the window, they could see a figure darting out of the room. Looks like everything's fine now. Shall we head back? Bradley glanced at the 5 little ones, who all nodded in agreement. Bradley's hand paused as he started the car, glancing at the rearview mirror. He felt a bit sorry for those snakes. If the York family dealt with them, they'd be done for. Don't you want those snakes anymore? Who says we don't want them anymore? Tim. Tell them to leave quickly. Jasper excitedly reminded Tim. Tim took out his flute and played rhythmically for a while. Meanwhile, Several snakes from the villa upstairs swiftly slithered out of the room, winding their way down the staircase. Upon seeing the snakes chasing after them, Miranda and her mother were terrified and started to scatter in all directions. Chapter 1459. Several snakes slithered towards the door, causing fear in Heather and Miranda. The mother and daughter hid wherever they could, their skin prickling with goosebumps as they trembled in fear. Nervously looking around, they feared that the snakes might suddenly appear before their eyes. Where are the snakes?" Heather stammered, trembling uncontrollably. "I have no idea," Miranda replied, equally clueless. As she cautiously moved towards the open space, she kept an eye on the flower beds and bushes. "Mom, why do we have snakes in our house?" The state of destruction at home left her mind blank for a moment. She couldn't care less about anything else. Heather moved closer to Miranda, her face pale. I don't know. I was sleeping. Miranda, can you check if those snakes are still there?" Miranda looked around, not seeing any trace of the snakes. She asked uncertainly, "Mom, could they have run away?" Heather clung to her arm, anxiously scanning her surroundings. She stood at the entrance of the villa, too scared to go inside. At that moment, those snakes smoothly slithered up the car, drawn by the sound of the flute. "Hee hee, they're so well behaved." Jasper gently stroked the baby snake's head. They were so adorable. He wondered why some people were afraid of them. "I can't believe how timid they are." "Mr. Hinton, start the car quickly." Oliver, having counted all the snakes, urged Bradley. If they stayed here any longer, they would be discovered. "Everyone's back." Bradley stared in astonishment at the obedient snakes nestled in the arms of the little ones. They were surprisingly well behaved. "Yes, let's hit the road." Zachary nodded in agreement, took his small backpack, and let the little snake baby get inside. Tim tucked the little snake, which was nestled in his arms, into his backpack. "You did great today. Let's feed them extra when we get back," Gavin told them, already having in mind what to feed the baby snakes. "Feed them the big drumsticks." Jasper chuckled, his eyes squinting with amusement. He couldn't bear to put the snake into his backpack. Instead, he held it and kept stroking it. "Hurry up and put it in. You're going to rub it bald," Zachary urged him. Jasper really needs some telling off at times. Jasper stuck out his tongue a little before obediently putting it back in. "Are you heading back to Yaleview?" Bradley glanced at the rearview mirror. Have these 5 little rascals finished their mischief and decided not to run away from home? The 5 children were too excited just now. Only now did they take this issue seriously, exchanging glances with each other. "We're not going back," Gavin declared, full of resolve. "We've run away from home, and there's no way we're returning." "Where are you going, then?" Bradley asked them. "There has to be a destination, right? Let's head to your place," Zachary said, glancing at Bradley, causing the latter to tremble slightly, his hands on the steering wheel shaking in response. With a dry chuckle, Bradley advised the little ones, "I don't think it's a good idea. I believe it's better for you to go home. Otherwise, your mommy will be really worried, and your daddy is not someone to be trifled with." The crux of the matter was he couldn't afford to offend them. "If Mr. Graham finds out that I was the one who took the little ones away, that would be disastrous. If they were brought to my place, wouldn't that just stir up a hornet's nest?" "Mr. Hinton, you're such a coward," Zachary said with disdain. Bradley chuckled. "Jay might meet my maker too." "Mr. Hinton, go to this place." Gavin opened his mobile phone and marked the route for Bradley. It was a high-end apartment in the city center, with full 5-star hotel services. "Are you sure?" Bradley looked at the little one with doubt. Gavin nodded. "Absolutely. I have a house there." Bradley was utterly astonished. The young master is indeed wealthy. "All right. I'll take you there." He was also curious to see how luxurious that place was. "Gavin, just how many houses do you actually own?" Gavin's eyes shifted slightly. He didn't give him the address. "I think there are about 7 or 8. Chapter 1460. "Wow, so many." Oliver couldn't hide his envy. "Who bought them for you?" "Daddy." Gavin looked at them, his eyes filled with mischief. "This time, you can ask Daddy to buy it for you." We won't go home until he does. Otherwise, it's a total loss for you. Oliver nodded. I think so too. Daddy has always said he doesn't play favorites. If you have something, we surely have it too. Haha, so much money. Jasper's eyes crinkled in amusement as he said, we absolutely have to choose for ourselves. Ls there a need to be picky. Just buy the same one as Gavin. Zachary leaned back in his chair, calm and composed, like a boss commanding his empire. Tim looked at them, and a question came to his mind. Does Daddy still have that much money? Didn't he give all his money to Mommy? All of Daddy's money has gone to Mommy, so if we still want a house, wouldn't we have to spend Mommy's money? Right. Oliver's eyebrows furrowed as he looked at his brothers. So we don't have any left. Don't worry, Daddy is very good at making money. A dozen or so houses are nothing to him. Just ask for them, Gavin replied with a cunning smile. Glancing at them through the rearview mirror, Bradley twitched his mouth slightly. Mr. Graham's own sons are plotting against him. This is quite something. Bradley sent the kids over to their hotel apartment. Then, he followed the little ones up to the top floor, the penthouse. Gavin, this place is huge. The decorations were incredibly luxurious. Only the ultra-wealthy could afford a place like that. Bradley, along with the kids, visited Gavin's new residence. It was like visiting a paradise, truly an eye-opening experience. Mr. Hinton, it's quite late. Why don't you stay with us? Gavin invited Bradley, not wanting him to run around at this hour. Are there enough rooms? Teased Bradley. Gavin nodded. Yes, they're sleeping with me in the master bedroom. So, feel free to choose any guest room. Hugging him, Bradley gave him a kiss and said, Gavin, if your daddy finds out, you must protect me, okay? Mr. Hinton, rest assured. We will protect you. Jasper, in a righteous manner, patted Bradley's thigh. Bradley chuckled, looking around the new environment. Should we order some food to celebrate moving into the new house? Wouldn't that set the mood? Go ahead and order. I'm feeling a bit hungry now. Let's take a bath first. Zachary spun around, eager to try out the bathtub. Go take your baths quickly. I'm going to order some late-night snacks right now. Bradley urged them to bathe, then settled down on the couch to start ordering takeout. At that moment, the doorbell rang. The 5 little ones hadn't gone in to bathe yet, their gazes turning to the door at the same time as Bradley. Bradley asked in surprise, who could be visiting at this late hour? His heart skipped a few beats, a sense of foreboding creeping in. The 5 kids, however, were much more composed than him. Gavin went to the door, glanced through the peephole, and turned back to them, saying, It's Daddy's people. Ethan, along with a group of bodyguards, waited at the door. After a while, with no one coming to open it, they had no choice but to call out. Kids, I know you're here. Please come out, and let's go home. Mr. Graham and Mrs. Graham are waiting for you at home. Gavin snorted, no longer bothering to hide. If they could find this place, it meant they had a tracking system. Go back. We're staying here tonight. Ethan was feeling a bit of a headache, continuing to coax the little ones. Kids, why don't you come back with me? Otherwise, if we upset Mr. Graham, it won't be good. Tell him there's no way we're going back. He's the one who kicked us out. Zachary ran to the door and shouted outside. Ethan wore a wry smile, saying cheerfully, How could Mr. Graham drive you out? He surely didn't mean to. He really cares about you. He did it on purpose. We're not going home tonight. Let's see what he can do about it, Zachary retorted.